Amazing Fantasy number 15 showed the first appearance of the Amazing Spider-Man. What a cool little puzzle this is. This is a 300-piece puzzle. And this one is going to be a jewel in my collection, even though it is so small. This puzzle is perfect for framing. Hi, welcome to Jigsaw Geek. I took a break from the 1,000-piece puzzles because I have a bunch of reading to do, but I still wanted to do some puzzles. So I figured I would tackle the last of the 300-piece Marvel puzzles that I have. And that is the Amazing Spider-Man's first appearance. And what a fun puzzle this is. So let me go ahead and talk about doing this puzzle. I, of course, started with the edges because I just like doing the edges for most of the poems that I do. Now, as you can see, the edges have one side with a thick line and then one side with a thin line. And when you divide half of the edge pieces that way, it was way easier to do the edges. After that, I went for the letters, the thought bubbles, plus the block of text. I found that the letters were a little bit difficult to do, so instead I went to the thought bubbles. And then after that, I worked on the letters. Now, what was helpful about the letters is, if you can see that each letter was outlined in blue, and once I realized what direction the blue lines were, that helped me determine the directions that the pieces needed to go in. You can see that I started with the big A and the big G and kind of worked my way in, often going for the piece shape to help me, because the letters were actually pretty difficult. From there, I started working on the man that Spider-Man is carrying, and that led me to some of the people on the rooftops, and then the shape of Spider-Man, and finally filling in the background and the great buildings. I had a ton of fun doing this puzzle. This was actually the second time that I did this puzzle. I don't know if you noticed, but at the very beginning of the video, I had the edge pieces in a little plastic bag separated. Some people might say that's a cheat. I don't know why. I'm not timing myself. If I do a puzzle and then I put it away, I absolutely take the edge pieces and separate them. That just saves me time later so that I have more fun to do the puzzle instead of all of the separating. I find separating often to be a chore, a necessary one, but if I can save myself that trouble, why not? Now, this comic book is worth a lot of money, but I recently was able to buy a facsimile edition of this, and I am perfectly happy with that in my collection. If you didn't know, I am a big comic book collector, a big comic book enthusiast, and I love doing puzzles that are the covers of comic books. So whenever I see these, I try to grab them. Since I have my next puzzle out, I'm going to go ahead and show it. It's another 500 piece, which I haven't done before, and it's a panorama puzzle. This one is 36 by 12 inches. So this one ought to be interesting to do. This is not the typical type of puzzle I do. This is not the type of scenery that I do, but I am interested in the way that there are levels in this. You can tell that this is kind of a puzzle-made puzzle because the layers in order to be able to do most of the sorting. Although we do have orange here and it spills out to here. But for the most part, we do have some layers in this puzzle. It's not typical to talk about the puzzle you're gonna do next in one of these videos, but I figured, hey, since I have this puzzle out and I'm ready to do it, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this puzzle, which you will probably see a time lapse short of either tomorrow or the following day. I do have a bunch of reading to catch up on, so I'm giving that priority over puzzles over the next couple of days. As always, I wanna thank you for your support, and any comments that you make are greatly appreciated.
There goes the Spider-Man.